Could President Donald Trump be banned from ballots in the 2024 presidential election? 301 days until election day in America, and many of you have probably already heard that many states are starting to ban President Donald Trump from their ballots in the 2024 presidential election. Two notable states are Colorado and my own state, Maine. Is this even constitutional? Well, no. Could you imagine if the Republicans said tomorrow, we're going to ban Joe Biden or any other Democratic candidate from the election in 2024? That would not go over well. But the people that are doing this to President Donald Trump are obviously considered heroes on the left because they're sticking up to the big bad orange man, as a lot of them would say. According to the Associated Press, the Supreme Court said Friday it will decide whether former President Donald Trump can be kept off the ballot because of his efforts to overturn his 2020 election loss, inserting the court squarely in the 2024 presidential campaign. I love how it all comes back to January 6th. There are a lot of facts about what happened on January 6th, and there's a lot of misinformation. The truth about what happened on January 6th is very simple. There was a lot of good and a lot of bad that happened, but I don't think it even remotely compares to what we saw with the BLM riots and everything else. When President Donald Trump lost the election in 2020, you had a lot of upset Americans, and all Trump wanted was a peaceful protest. Now, before fact checkers decide to fact check this episode, watch the videos, look at the tweets. I mean, Donald Trump was not at all condoning violence, and he didn't want anything to happen to anyone. He just wanted his people, his supporters, to march in Washington and show their support. Now, without cramming misinformation down everyone's throats, and take this with a grain of salt, as it's very difficult to know what is true and what is not. A lot of people have seen documents of, well, this being a planned situation. I mean, the guards were letting these protesters into Congress, the Congress building, and I don't know, it just seems fishy to me. The justices acknowledged the need to reach a decision quickly, as voters will soon begin casting presidential primary ballots across the country. The court agreed to take up Trump's appeal of a case from Colorado stemming from his role in the events that culminated in the January 6, 2021 attack on the US Capitol. I love how they call it a attack. That's something you're going to see very much on the left, is that they just say, oh, it was an attack. It was a terrible attack. You know, and I hate to shine a light on something else. I hate to be like, okay, look at what happened at the US Capitol, but hey, look what happened here. I mean, what did people forget what happened the summer of 2020 with Black Lives Matter, the George Floyd situation? I mean, God, I feel like these people are hypocrites. I mean, we had the Democrats literally come out and say, you know, this is good. This is good. They're creating hundreds of billions of dollars in property damage. They're destroying this. They're destroying that. But Trump supporters and conservatives that are really honestly scared for the future of this nation going out and protesting. I mean, if the Democrats can do it, why can't the Republicans? Why, as soon as a Republican protests, it's a bad thing? That makes no sense to me. And it really is pure hypocrisy at its finest, because, and I'm curious, everyone watching at home, in the comments, put what your thoughts are on this whole thing, because, I mean, President Donald Trump even came out and said, we don't want violence. You know, we want a peaceful protest. We are concerned that the election might not have been legitimate. And, you know, fact checkers, I didn't say it wasn't legitimate. I'm just saying there's a lot of evidence that says that it very well could have been an illegitimate election. And I think a lot of Americans, a lot of conservatives, and you know what? I'm going to say it right now. A lot of people on the left, since Joe Biden took office, as more and more facts come out, are starting to think, was that an actual legitimate election? Did 81 million people actually come out and vote for Joe Biden? I mean, he can't even walk up the stairs without falling. And I know that's a cheap shot, but it is true. He can't even speak properly half the time. I mean, what is going on? This makes no legitimate sense, but let's read on. Underscoring the urgency, arguments will be held on February 8th during what is normally a nearly month-long winter break for the justices. The compressed time frame could allow the court to produce a decision before Super Tuesday on March 5th, when the largest number of delegates are up for grabs in a single day, including in Colorado. Trump said in a campaign event in Iowa, quote, "All I want is fair. I just hope that they're going to be fair." And I think that's what everyone wants, is a fair election. I mean, even the Democrats can't stand with Joe Biden right now. I mean, he has destroyed this country. What are we at right now? And this isn't 100%, but 200% inflation rate. Unemployment is crazy, at a crazy low. Gas and oil is still very expensive. And look what's going on in the Middle East. Joe Biden's presidency has been a joke. And you're starting to see, and I'm being serious on this, a lot of Democrats or middle-leaning people, right, that have some views on the left, some views on the right, really just going full right, because what the Democrats are doing right now is honestly despicable. I'm curious, and I want you to put this in the comments below. If the election were held today, would you be casting your vote for President Donald Trump, or maybe the independent candidate Robert Kennedy Jr., or let's say Vivek Ramaswamy pulled off the nominee? Would you be voting for him? I'm curious on your opinions in the comments below. It really is an interesting conversation to be had, but let's continue. The court will be considering for the first time the meaning and reach of a provision of the 14th Amendment, barring some people who engaged in insurrection from holding public office. The amendment was adopted in 1868 following the Civil War. It has been so rarely used that the nation's highest court had no previous occasion to intercept it. Colorado's Supreme Court, by a 4-3 vote, ruled last month that Trump should not be on the Republican primary ballot. The decision was the first time the 14th Amendment was used to bar a presidential contender from the ballot. Trump is separately appealing to state court a ruling by Maine's Democratic Secretary of State, Shanna Bellows, that he was ineligible to appear on the state's ballot over his role in the Capitol attack. Both the Colorado Supreme Court and the Maine Secretary of State rulings are on hold until the appeals play out. I find it funny because they're making it sound like Donald Trump was leading the riot into the Capitol. That was not true whatsoever. And he was not on Twitter, guys, go attack the senators. No, that did not happen. God, he came on TV and said, we love you, peaceful protests, stick up for what's right. When is enough going to be enough? When are they going to say, all right, what is this playbook? What are the Democrats doing? This is a sad excuse for election control. If a Republican does not win in 2024, whether it be Vivek Ramaswamy, President Donald Trump, or the independent candidate, which really should be a Republican, Kennedy Jr., what's going to happen? Could you imagine another 4 years under Joe Biden? And you know what? I'm going to say this right now. If Joe Biden wins in 2024, I'm going to be questioning that election a hell of a lot more than I was questioning 2020's, because there's facts. His approval rating is lower than Trump's. Are you kidding me? People are worse off under Joe Biden than they were the first year of Trump. This is ridiculous. This is shameful, and the American people should stick up. Only time's gonna tell what happens. We have roughly 301 days until we start casting our votes for the next president of the United States. God bless America. Let's hope that the right thing happens. Thank you guys all for watching. Don't forget to follow, subscribe, share, like, react, whatever. Comment down below your thoughts. I've been Gage, and we'll see you next time.